sizameni ukwenza ngokuhle sisaziphilela lo mhlaba. Make sizameni ukwenza ngokuhle sisaziphilela lo mhlaba.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome, brothers, sisters, friends and citizens of the world. Since 1990, over 4 million Muslims have been killed in Western wars. And when it comes to terrorism, 99.3% of all terror attacks in Europe are committed by non-Muslims. So why is it that the reality is so different from the image portrayed by the media? Why is it that similar events are manipulated and given different levels of coverage? We're here in Derby today and we want to ask the public if they think Muslim lives matter as much as others. Let's see how it goes. Hi sir, have you heard of the recent terrorist attack?
Well, of course.
Where was it?
Oh, in Brussels. Yeah.
Heard of the recent terror attack?
Yeah, I have.
Where was it?
In Brussels.
Have you heard of the recent terror attack?
Right, Brussels.
Yeah, you've heard of that one, yeah? Have you heard of the terrorist attack yesterday?
Yep, in Brussels. Yeah.
Boys, have you heard of the recent terrorist attack that took place?
Yeah, in Brussels.
In Brussels, you've heard of it?
Yeah.
Have you heard of the recent terrorist attack that took place?
Yes, I have.
Where was it?
In Brussels?
In Brussels. Have you heard of the one that happened a week prior to that?
A week prior? No.
Have you heard of the terrorist attack last week?
In.
Have you heard of one prior to that? Or any other terror attacks in the past month?
No.
You've not heard of any others?
Not really.
One in Turkey? Well, 3 in Turkey. Have you heard of the terrorist attack that took place a week prior to that?
No, was that in Birmingham? No.
Have you heard of the one that happened a week prior to that?
No.
In Turkey?
No, I didn't hear about that.
Did you hear about the one prior to that? A week prior to that?
I'm not sure I did.
Did you hear of the one prior to that?
Turkey.
About a week before that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think there was a different level of coverage for both events?
Brussels was more publicised, yeah.
Why do you think that is?
More in Europe, innit? Well, you know what I mean, they're both in Europe, but
Okay.
I think it's more Muslim based in
In Turkey.
Turkey, so it's,
So matter a little less, maybe?
well, no, maybe not a little less. I think it's more, not publicised, but I think it's more like more
why do you think-
Muslim in Turkey, so they're not as bothered about it as what they would be.
Do you think there was any particular reason why you're more aware of one rather than the other? Or one was given more coverage than the other?
I think it's something to do when it's a little closer to home in Western Europe. I think it attracts a little bit more media attention for sure.
Do you think there was a difference in the level of coverage for both incidents?
Yes, definitely.
And why do you think that is?
Because of more like Western civilization. Like people think in Western culture it's more like us against them sort of thing.
Well, just to ask you another question. Have you heard of Lee Rigby?
Yes, I have heard of Lee.
Who was Lee Rigby?
So he was the soldier that was killed in the Woolwich Barracks.
Absolutely, he was. Have you heard of Mohammed Salim
I haven't heard of Mohammed.
from Birmingham?
I haven't.
Have you heard of Lee Rigby?
Yes, I do know who Rigby is.
Have you heard of Mohammed Salim?
Yes.
Who was Mohammed Salim?
Was he not arrested? Was he no?
That's right. Have you heard of Mohammed Salim?
No.
82-year-old grandfather from Birmingham?
No.
Have you heard of Lee Rigby?
Yes.
Who was he?
A soldier that got his head like nearly cut off.
He got killed, yeah. Have you heard of Mohammed Salim?
No.
But-
Have you heard of Lee Rigby at all?
Yes, I have.
You've heard of him. Who was he?
Was he? He was a... Oh, I can't remember now.
Drummer for the
Yes.
one who was killed in London, yeah. Did you hear of Mohammed Salim?
No.
82-year-old grandfather from Birmingham. He was killed in a terrorist attack within the same month of Lee Rigby in Birmingham. The person convicted of that was also convicted of planting 3 nail bombs across Birmingham which exploded at mosques. Again, do you think there's a reason why you heard of one and not the other? They're both British citizens.
No, I can't think of any.
One was a Muslim, one wasn't.
Oh, well, that could be why then.
Do you think so?
Yeah, because
Okay.
people have like a Muslim, like they're against us sort of.
The bad guys.
Yeah, I think, which is a bit weird because I like Muslims. I live in like a highly Muslim like community.
So would you say that media maybe has some kind of political agenda?
Yes, I believe so.
which is anti-Muslim agenda.
Yes.
That is in Britain.
Yeah.
Both incidents were in Britain. One a lot closer to us than the other, Birmingham closer to us. Do you think there's a reason why you heard of one and you haven't heard of the
Well,
other?
the name ring a bell, didn't it? Because obviously the Lee Rigby thing got a lot more coverage.
Why do you think that is?
Well, he was a serviceman. It happened in the street. There was
They both happened in the street.
yeah,
And one involved 3 bombs as well,
yeah.
which we haven't heard of.
Okay. I mean, I think probably it is to do with racism, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't get too much about the Mohammed Salim guy, but at the end of the day,
Seems strange, doesn't it?
yeah, it is strange and it's sad, but
So according to Interpol, 99.3% of all terror attacks within Europe are not committed by Muslims. Would it seem that way, judging by the media?
no, definitely not. No, I won't say that.
So it does seem like an
Yeah, but-
anti-Islam kind of agenda?
Yeah, I suppose, but it's just how the media is, isn't it? They bullshit about everything, to be fair.
Again, why do you think you've heard of one and you haven't heard of the other?
It's English, innit? That's why. Media.
Government.
So would you say Muslim lives matter a bit less when it comes to the media?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's it.
Do you think there's a reason why you don't know much about it, or why they both receive different levels of coverage from the mainstream media?
I guess the media is really used to let people know what the bigger fish want you to know. I guess. Yeah.
Who are the bigger fish?
The people in power.
So would you say the mainstream media is pushing some kind of narrative or agenda?
Yeah, I would.
What would you say that agenda is?
One of fear and
Anti-Muslim? Does it seem that way?
it does. It does. Yeah. Yeah.
I think media leads a lot of people's opinions because they aren't educated enough in the situation to be able to make their own decisions, or they aren't politically knowledgeable, or they aren't, religiously knowledgeable, and it's about having that diverse equality and understanding of it, and not everybody has that.
I'm not I don't believe a lot of the propaganda that the government brings out, and I stay away a lot from the news because my opinion it's silly.
So what kind of propaganda do you think is being pushed by the media?
I mean, they
you mentioned the word propaganda. What do you...
they start wars, obviously, like in places like Iraq, and then you have uprisings like ISIS and things like that, and then they go in.
Yeah, I mean, ISIS only formed as a group in reaction to the illegal invasion. Yeah,
exactly, and then they kind of brand everybody with the same brush, and Muslims in this country or whatever, and they're all getting a hard time.
So painting Muslims are the bad guys, basically.
So, yeah.
Well, I would say the one we've not heard about is because the person's a Muslim. But is that not?
What do you think? Do you think that's the reason?
Yeah, I think that's the reason. I don't think they want to publicise like Muslims killing Muslims. If it's Muslim killing a white Englishman, then they can make...
Or a Muslim being killed by a white or a right-wing extremist. It's not as important as... So Muslim lives matter a little less when it comes to the mainstream media. Not for us, but for the mainstream media, would you say? They matter a little bit less.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's bound to be a bias, isn't there? I mean, I wouldn't trust the media anyway.
Neither would I.
No, I wouldn't.
And neither should you.
Neither should
That's
we.
right.
No.
That's
All
right.
right.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Cheers. Okay, back at home now. It started raining. I let you all draw your own conclusions from that. But one thing we all can definitely agree on is there is an anti-Islam agenda being pushed by the media. And we as Muslims shouldn't allow ourselves to be always apologizing or trying to justify, or allow our attention and thoughts to be manipulated or diverted. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook. Assalamu alaikum.
Allegiance, 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 allegiance.